Howdy everyone and welcome back to the channel. So the box office this week kind of follows a trend that we've been seeing throughout the year. A new installment of a previously successful franchise comes out and deeply underperforms. This weekend we saw that trend continue with The Hunger Games: A Songbird of Snakes. No, that's not it. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Okay, they should have worked on that title. Yeah, the newest Hunger Games movie came out to just $44 million, and that was enough to get it to the #1 spot in the weekend box office, but that is a steep drop off from the previous Hunger Games film that was released back in 2015 that opened to over $100 million. Now, I don't know if at the time that I'm filming this, they just haven't come out with the worldwide box office numbers, or maybe it hasn't been released in other countries across the globe, but right now I'm just seeing $44 million bucks. Now, I think a couple of factors heavily contributed towards this outcome. First of all, like I said before, it's been a long time since the last Hunger Games movie. It's been 8 years. Katniss wasn't going to be in this one. It was a whole new group of characters. Well, kind of. It was a totally different story about the villain in the Hunger Games movies that we know, and they didn't really have a lot of big stars in there. I realized that Rachel Zegler was in West Side Story, but that movie was a bomb, and the only movie that I know of that she's been in between West Side Story and this one was Shazam 2 in a very minor role. And the lead was played by Tom Blythe, who, don't get me wrong, is spectacular in the movie, but I don't know anything else that he's been in, so there wasn't really that appeal to get people into the theaters, unfortunately. And it shouldn't go without saying that the actor's strike played a major role in this as well. Now, I realize that strike is over, but they couldn't go out and do their full-on marketing campaign. I believe the actor's strike ended about a week and a half ago, so, they didn't have enough time logistically to get Tom Blythe, Rachel Zegler, Viola Davis out there on the marketing trail. So it is a smaller number than what I would have expected from a Hunger Games movie. Now, there is good news. In a world where a bunch of franchises are spending way too much on their movies, this one's budget is actually not bad for what we got. This budget was $100 million, not including marketing, but I guess that probably wasn't super expensive. This movie's going to continue seeing a growth in its box office once we get the worldwide numbers out there, and this week is Thanksgiving as well. You'll have a lot of families going to the theater. Hunger Games is a familiar brand, so maybe they decide to go out and see this. I like the movie. I know Rotten Tomatoes has it a bit more mixed, around 64%, but, it's positively received. The movie's not a dumpster fire, so I can see people taking a chance on it. Certainly, it's not what you would have hoped if you were a producer on this film, but luckily, with the budget that they had, they should be fine. It's not a situation like Fast 10 that spent like $350 million, gained like $750 million, and still lost money. Excuse me. And on that topic of franchises underperforming, I realized I didn't make a video last week, but I absolutely have to talk about the Marvels because holy crap, that is not doing well. It was the smallest Marvel opening ever in the franchise's history at, I believe, $49 million opening weekend. Now, for context, the first Captain Marvel came out and made $152 million in its opening weekend. So this isn't good. Now, I was talking about this with a buddy recently, and I think that there are a few different reasons why this film did so poorly. First off, people don't really like Captain Marvel. Now, I don't know if people don't like the character, if they find her boring, or if people just have an issue with the actress that plays Captain Marvel, but people weren't really clamoring to go see a Captain Marvel sequel. The second major thing here is, two of the main leads in Miss Marvel and whatever they're calling her, Monica Rambeau. The two other leads, people had to do a whole lot of homework with the Disney Plus shows and felt like they couldn't really catch up in time to watch the Marvels, or they just didn't want to watch those shows. Which I honestly think they could have gotten away with if the main lead was one of the heroes that people overwhelmingly liked. If they rolled out Captain America or Iron Man or somebody like that on that caliber, and you had two characters from TV shows, I don't think it really impacts the box office that much, but they tried this experiment with the wrong hero in the wrong movie. And then also, it was heavily impacted by the actors' strike. They couldn't get actors out there to promote the film. Now, I don't know, depending on your opinion of Brie Larson, that may be for the better, but I'm always gonna say that, you know, it's better to get those people out there on the campaign trail convincing people to come in and see your movie. And then the major final reason is just people are tired of mediocrity in the MCU. This movie, you know, it was released in like the 60 range on Rotten Tomatoes, so it wasn't an overwhelmingly positively received movie, jeez. And it was with a character that people were already a little unsure about, so, you know, the mediocrity in the MCU right now is really affecting the box office returns. I mean, just look at a movie like Guardians 3, where it was overwhelmingly praised, but unfortunately, because of the performance of the MCU previously, and I would say Disney Plus is to blame as well, people just waiting for it to be on Disney Plus, that movie didn't hit $1 billion. Whenever honestly it had every right to be. People loved the Guardians, it was a super well-received movie, but it appears that the Marvels is serving as that final push for Kevin Feige and team to completely overhaul the plan for the MCU. By all reports, they're moving away from Kang, and they're starting to restructure when some of their films are being released, so I think it's a good thing that the only MCU movie we're going to get next year is Deadpool 3, because if the Marvels and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania are a signal of what direction the MCU is going, I don't like it. And on top of all of that, it suffered a steep drop off this weekend and its second weekend. It dropped 78%, which is horrible. It's absolutely terrible. This movie's not gonna get anywhere close to its production budget. It's made $161 million worldwide, and I don't really see it growing much more. They're lucky if they hit 200 at this point. But yeah, enough about the Marvels. Let's talk about the other new release, Trolls Band Together, which is Trolls 3. That opened up to $30 million this weekend. I would expect it to do very well over Thanksgiving. You know, parents just needing to get their kids out of the house, go see a movie with them. Trolls 3. I haven't even read any reviews for it, but I'm sure it's fine. But hey, so far it's made $108 million worldwide. Production budget was $95. They need to, you know, keep inching up to make up for the marketing costs and everything, but they're gonna get there. It's not a bad return for a little animated movie. And then the other new release was Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, opening up at number 4 with a little bit over $10 million. Look, I'm not really one for a slasher movie. I've seen the trailers for this, and it's just not my thing. I'm also just not an Eli Roth fan personally. I don't think I like any of his films. I, in fact, hate a lot of them. So I'm not going to go see this. It doesn't interest me whatsoever. But it looks like it did pretty well given its production budget. Produced for just $15 million, you know, getting $12 million worldwide in its first weekend is really solid. And it's a movie called Thanksgiving. Surely some horror movie fans are going to go out and see this for Thanksgiving. I don't know why. Don't take your kids to go see it, that's for sure. But yeah, it's doing well given its production budget. I wouldn't expect it to last much longer in the top 10 though. But then the last movie that I wanted to talk about was Next Goal Wins, opening wide this week with $2.5 million. A Taika Waititi film opening up not very well, and honestly, I can see why. First of all, the marketing campaign for this movie, I didn't find, you know, really that appealing. I was interested in this movie from the beginning of the year because it's Taika Waititi, and while a lot of people don't like Thor 4, I thought it was fine. You know, I found it more funny than, I guess, your average consumer. And then I think he's made some of the best movies of the last 10 years with Jojo Rabbit, Thor Ragnarok, Hunt for the Wilder People. He's an extremely talented, award-winning writer, so I'm gonna go out and see any movie that he makes. Unfortunately, Next Goal Wins, I didn't like all that much. It's not terrible by any means, but it's not like a critically appraised movie or critically praised film that he is used to having, and the marketing rollout wasn't really that good for this film. It's not surprising to me that it's not performing well, and it's really unfortunate because I like him as a filmmaker, and hopefully the next movie that he comes out with, you know, hits the mark a little bit better. But that's everything that I wanted to talk about this week with the box office report. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more. Bye.